Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we're going to talk about heart-centered leadership with a national expert next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I'm excited about this episode because it's about heart-centered leadership, and I like to think that I lead with my heart. I call it a Thank God It's Monday company. The team all loves getting together and having lunch together and laughing, and the boss, I suppose, kind of sets the tone for the whole company. Somebody who knows that very well, Shaunna Black with Shaunna Black Associates. Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, I'm excited too, Jeff. It's always fun to be with you. You make it very easy.
Well, you're very kind, and I want to give you a chance to give your resume. You climbed your way up to the top of TI.
Almost up to the top.
But how many people reported to you?
Well, I guess when I was running global divisions, it was about 1,500 worldwide.
Sure.
Yeah, we had sites in 24 countries.
Which is amazing, and you are a heart-centered leader in an industry that's not known for that.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. Yeah, it's technology tends to be very top-down, command and control. Still is very male energy, and still is very directive in most places. But, you know, I was raised by parents who believed that leadership was serving others. They modeled that my entire life in both our home, their businesses, but in volunteer. My parents volunteered all the way till they passed. And then my first career was actually high school teaching.
Wow.
And so serving others was really reinforced in that career because you're really a teaching, coaching leader, and your job is in a school year to grow people's capacity to perform and have the life they want. And I really loved it. And but I had always been called to mechanical engineering, and in my 20s I had the confidence to go back to go to college, finish an ME degree with two babies, had it in 1984, had an ME degree and a 2.5-year-old and a 6-month-old, and took a job with Texas Instruments, and I was 30 years old as a freshman engineer. And there were 2 women in our group, and I started getting promoted, and the only way I really knew how to lead was the way I had been leading, and it was not the normal model. But I didn't know how to do it any way else. And I think if I had started in technology at 22, maybe I would have copied what I saw.
Sure. But
when I started at 30, it was already ingrained in me so deeply. I had to do it my way. And it's no surprise to you and me that when you create an environment for people where they feel like they're in community, they feel totally invited to be themselves, they're asked to fully participate and share their ideas, and you create safety and you create fun, really amazing things happen.
Did you create a reputation for yourself where people wanted to be on your team?
Yes, we did.
We did. That had to be fun.
And it wasn't just me, it was us, you know. It was, we had a fun time, and people enjoyed working with each other. I had, early in my career, I had somebody that, you know, I really respected who was on technical staff, a really wonderful leader technically, but he was a wonderful people leader, and he reported to me. And we worked together for 2 years, and then I was assigned someplace else. And he told me when he left that his career, his marriage was the best it had been in 14 years.
Wow.
Because we didn't require each other to choose between our family or our work. And it's meant so much to me.
No, that's wow, probably the ultimate compliment.
Yeah.
You have a very successful company. We're going to pull up your website, and I want you to talk about the kinds of clients that you like to work with.
Yeah, well, I describe them as my younger self. It didn't turn out, I didn't plan it that way, but what has turned out is that the people who tend to be attracted to me are in technology or software or something related to technology, because they're really hiring me because I used to do their job in some way. They tend to be, executives of Fortune 500 or mid-cap, or founders and owners of companies. And the common criteria is that they're heart-centered. I'm really choosy about who I work with, because I think people who believe in heart-centered leadership, when I talk to them about where did they learn that, many times they start with stories about their parents.
Wow.
Or a coach or a teacher, right? And it's a deep philosophy in how they approach people in life and leading others. And so I want to work with people who share my philosophy. And they tend to be, for sure, under 50, really under 47 or 45, very successful. But they really believe in coaching and mentoring and believe in learning from others. And so it's just joy to me. It never feels like work. It just feels like joy.
Yes, and Shaunna does a lot of podcasting. In fact, she was in our studios not too long ago on somebody else's show. We're going to go ahead and pull that up. You have the heart of a teacher still.
I do.
You love to educate people.
I do.
Is it easy to become a heart-centered leader? I mean, if you came from a my way or the highway, kind of culture, can you change into a heart-centered leader?
Absolutely. And in fact, I tell people, because frequently people tell me, well, it's so hard because everybody around me and above me leads in the sort of the dominant way we see in business around the world. And I just tell them, start where you are, because you're the boss or the leader to somebody else.
Sure.
The climate and the environment you create, you can do that any place at any level in an organization. I started doing this as a lowly, engineering project manager, right? And what I discovered early in my career is, even though it was odd, and I even had some managers in my life that I don't really understand what you do, but when you produce results, nobody really cares how you do it. And if you truly believe that people who feel safe and included and welcome and invited to fully participate and fully express who they are in their uniquely beautiful selves that we all are, create more outstanding results, what do you have to lose? Yes. And for me, early in my career, my answer was, I would not be happy doing it any other way. And I really wanted to be happy at work. That fun is a real high priority for me. It's a high value. And I knew I would not be happy doing it any other way. And so I just started. And when I started early, I was so lowly in the organization, nobody really noticed how I did it, except the people that I worked with. As I got higher and people saw my approach more, honestly, it was early on, sort of question on a big project, will this really work? And luckily, I had leaders I reported to who said to me, do it your way, you'll be fine. And they supported me, and they created a nurturing environment for me to take that risk. And sure enough, we produced results. So, start wherever you are.
I love it. She's also a very popular speaker. We've got some video of you speaking a few years ago. Talk about the kinds of groups that you love to speak to, and what is your message?
So I just talked to Conscious Capitalism chapter of Dallas, and again, my message tends to be heart-centered leadership, and a lot of different ways of applying it. And I really love to work with people who lead because they think it's a calling, and they think their purpose is to create a great space for people to blossom and flourish. And they believe that when people are blossoming and fully contributing with joy, like you say, you know, excited to wake up and go work with their team on Monday morning, that profitability, revenue grows, market share all follows.
Sure.
And I truly believe that deeply. And so I love to talk to organizations that already believe that and are doing that kind of work in the world, and maybe want methods, tools, and approaches to help accelerate that process.
We've got some video from our library that we're going to put up of just different female leaders, and I want you to talk about the challenges that female leaders face. Mm-hmm. I know, you know, The Devil Wears Prada is a famous movie.
Yeah.
You can have the respect of your team without bullying your team.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that, honestly, I think that women have an advantage in a lot of ways because we've been socialized to collaborate. We've been socialized to work inside a team. We've been socialized, you know, honestly, early in my career, I think I was given more grace as a woman to talk about my heart, or, you know, talk about relationships, or talk about having fun at work than many of my male colleagues had. And so, but I have worked with women in my career, luckily not that many of them, that really felt like we used to describe them as men in women's bodies. You know, they were copying the dominant way of leadership that they saw. And, you know, I always felt sad about that because I thought we bring such an opportunity to bring our caring for and our focus on relationship and family into organizations. And I truly believe our teams are our work families. They're communities. And I think women are tremendous community builders. So why not do it our way?
And I think your message couldn't be more timely because, you know, we're living in an age of quiet quitting and rage applying. And it just seems like most employees are disengaged. Yeah. So maybe in the last few minutes, talk directly into the camera to that leader out there who may want to look in the mirror and change their style.
Right. So there's a saying, it's attributed to Teddy Roosevelt, and I don't know if it's true, but there's a saying that people don't care about what you know until they know that you care. And I like to say that leadership is about being a master garden. We're all uniquely beautiful human beings. There's nobody else like Jeff on the planet with his unique DNA, his strengths, his talents, his family background, his unique experiences. He's a treasure. And he can either be planted in nurturing, supportive soil, where he can blossom and contribute fully, or he can go to work or live in a desert. And I guess the question is, where do you think he's going to contribute most to the success of your team and your organization and the community in which you live? Someone who can blossom in a garden that you've created, or somebody who runs away from the desert at 5 o'clock every night?
Wow, that's profound. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and your message with us. We're going to end with her website, which is ShaunnaBlack.com. The great Shaunna Black. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.